Lacy, next high-octane power-punching beast. And now, like so many of the greats have had to do in their careers, Lacy has to find a way to get back on top. Tonight, tries to take a step towards that goal against veteran slugger Epifanio Mendoza. There's Epi Mendoza, 32 years old. He's from Colombia. He's exploded on the American scene a few times through the years. Possesses that one-punch power with the right hand. 28 wins, 24 knockouts. His breakthrough moment came on ESPN. He was a complete unknown when he KO'd popular New York prospect Tacumbo Olajide in the first round. Then most recently took a shot at the light heavyweight title, and Chad Dawson took him out in 4. Wants to pretend that night never happened.
It's a fight that I really don't want to talk about. You know, it's a short notice fight. I took the fight. I was there just replacing a Diacono who broke his hand. So it's a fight that, you know, I lost. But I think the referee was unfair. I mean, I was down, but I wasn't hurt, and they stopped the fight prematurely. Time and experience makes you fight differently. Before I was a knockout artist, I would go out and look for a knockout. Now that time has gone by, I've been learning how to relax myself in the ring, how to box, use my technique, and be smart in the ring.
And here he comes. Ring Magazine's #5 super middleweight in the world. IBF 168-pound titleist. Won the title back in October 2004. He had 4 title defenses. Recently injured his left shoulder, and he's been coming back from that. Hard to believe Jeff Lacy, now 31 years old, 8 years removed from his Olympics, and already 4 years removed from the time he first won the title. The famed left hook silenced from the shoulder injury in December 2006. 5-1 in world championship fights with 4 knockouts. And let's look at the rocky road that he's been on recently. He was an unbeaten titleist, and then he faced Joe Calzaghe back in March 2006. And Calzaghe gave Lacy an absolutely brutal beatdown in England. It was the bounce-back fight when Jeff tore his rotator cuff. After that, Lacy lost. His most recent bout was against Peter Manfredo. A close fight that many feel could have gone either way. Now Lacy says he's back.
After the Calzaghe fight, I mean, I was never going into that fight thinking that, you know, it was going to be a strike against me. But, you know, sometimes you got to take the bump in the road and you learn from it, which I did. In the last 2 years, I haven't had the best success in the ring, but I've won. I've won unanimous decisions in both fights. With the first fight with Vitaly Sipko, tearing my rotator cuff in the second round, I showed a lot of people that I have the mental strength to overcome what I was dealing with that night and pull out a unanimous decision. I come back a year later and take on a guy that's been active, a guy that's determined to win, a guy that's looking at me being out of the ring for over a year and coming in confident. And I beat him to a unanimous decision. And a lot of people still think that I'm not the same person. Are you kidding me? How could you even say that by someone winning fights with a torn rotator cuff and someone winning fights that's been out on a major surgery tendon tear and win a unanimous decision there? I mean, I don't understand what I'm out to do. Like I said, I'm just really now, I have it all together now. I'm focused on me and me going in there and my team going in there doing what we have to do. And tonight, that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to go out and look impressive.
You can hear that fire and focus now in Jeff Lacy. Super middleweight rankings shape up this way according to Ring Magazine. Joe Calzaghe on top. Kessler still holding that #1 spot, and Lacy is right now #5. So will it be a win for Jeff Lacy to move forward off of, or another stunner from Epi Mendoza? Teddy can give us some clues which way it could go in his fight plan.
If former world champion Jeff Lacy is going to get back to the top of the mountain, well, he's going to have to find a way to drop his opponent, Mendoza, off the cliff. How's he going to do it? Probably going to start with his favorite punch, the one that got him there, left hook. With Mendoza, taller, longer, but the good news for Lacy, Mendoza doesn't use that, and he doesn't throw straight punches. He likes to throw the looping right hand. So, for Lacy, weave that hook, bang, left hook. If Lacy can do that, Mount Everest, here we come, or maybe another world title. If Mendoza is going to pull off the upset tonight, he can take a lesson from this guy, Mr. Joe Louis, with the great straight right hand. Mendoza has power in that right hand, and that's what he needs to win. But it's not straight most of the time. Against Lacy, he gets a little heavy. He looks for big shots, power shots. I think Mendoza should stay on the outside where he has a reach and length advantage, and let Lacy reach in a little bit. When he does, bang! You see that? Nice and straight. This man would be proud. If Mendoza can do that, look out for the landslide. Look out for a win for Mendoza.
Epi Mendoza, possessor of that right-hand power, scheduled for 10. Mendoza and left hook Lacy.
Mouthpiece in. Wait, Jeff. Epifanio, 2 second only. Mouthpiece. Mouthpiece. Okay, pelea limpio, escúchame todo. Fight clean, listen to me all times. Toco los manos, buena suerte.
Jack Reese, the referee, had nothing but knockouts on Wednesday night fights so far. A look at the ring experience, and obviously Lacy, as a title holder, fought at the very top of the game. Mendoza just fought Chad Dawson at 175 pounds and was dismissed after 4 rounds in that bid for a light heavyweight crown, a fight that he took on short notice when Diacono was injured. Round 1 scheduled for 10.
Lacy has scar tissue, I noticed, over both eyes, and he's been cut over the right eye in his last 3 fights. You know, Mendoza was knocked out his last fight. Might not be a bad tactical plan for Lacy to jump on Mendoza a little bit and bring him back, mentally bring him back to that fight. You can see that height and length advantage of Mendoza. And right now he's staying in a place where he can use it, where he can pull the trigger on it, on the outside. And right there you see what we talk about in the fight plan, Joe. Lacy gets heavy with power shots. He leans in with those big shots, doesn't use his jab a lot of times to set him up. And when he does get heavy, when he does reach in a little bit with those shots, that's where Mendoza, staying on the outside, can maybe take advantage with some counter shots.
It's a right hand from Lacy, and another one comes in, and it backs up Epi Mendoza. Another right hand scores well for Jeff Lacy.
And Mendoza not helping himself by leaving that left hand out, and that's why Lacy choosing the right. Lacy taking our advice, jumping on Mendoza early, trying to bring his memory. And right now, I guarantee you, the mind of Mendoza is back 10 months ago when he was knocked out.
Uppercut by Mendoza on the inside. Lacy has him backed up and cornered there, and you can hear the thudding power shots from the former Olympian, former world titleist. Missed with that right hand. He was going for it there.
A little over anxious, Lacy there. He should be going to the body now on the inside. A long, lean body of Mendoza. When they're inside, Lacy has a big advantage, Joe, because Mendoza doesn't fight well on the inside. He needs room to throw those looping shots. This is where Lacy should do a lot of work and potentially a lot of damage.
Right uppercut from Mendoza again on the inside.
Look at how wide the legs are of Mendoza.
Wow. Well outside of his shoulders.
That means he can't move right now. He's stuck there on the ropes right now. And Lacy can take advantage. Maybe step to the side a little bit and leave Mendoza stretched out.
Watch the back of the head. All right?
Warning from Jack Reese. Lacy looked over to him right away when he was in on the back of the head. Lots of power shots in round number 1. Jeff Lacy, Epi Mendoza, end of 1. More to come.
Take a look here, right here at Mendoza's legs, how wide they are. That means he can't move. Lacy can go to work, maybe even step to the sides on Mendoza. Watch Lacy as he goes to work here. He has a sitting duck in front of him. Mendoza with those wide legs cannot navigate out of trouble, can only stay on those ropes in the same position.
There's another right hand that went to the back of the head. Mendoza was warned in that first round. Did it again here early in the second round. Jeff Lacy describing this as just the second chapter of what he's going to do in his boxing career.
Again, Lacy will get heavy with power shots as he comes in. Doesn't always use that jab to set them up. And when there's distance, look out for Mendoza. He needs room to throw those power shots, in particular the right hand. And when he has that distance, he can be dangerous.
Just landed that right hand.
The only punch that Mendoza has on the inside, Joe, of any kind of real danger is the right uppercut.
There it is.
And that's what Lacy should be told about in his corner. When you're on the inside, cup your glove a little bit to protect against the one punch that can do damage. The punch coming up. Again, you see Lacy gets a little careless there with fundamentals. Falling off balance quite often as he jumps in. I think Mendoza would really serve himself well to recognize that and try to time Lacy as he comes in with no jab. Like that. Or like that.
Right hand to the body.
What has to frustrate you if you're back up Mendoza with the height that he has is that he's allowing Lacy to come in with those big power shots, showing himself that he's coming in with them, leading with them, but Mendoza doing nothing about it, not firing at him as he comes forward.
Lead right hand for Mendoza, and Lacy stumbles back. Mendoza now all over Jeff Lacy, trying to get out of trouble.
And this is where Mendoza would serve himself to go to the body and freeze that head movement.
Epi Mendoza has done it before. Can he do it now to Jeff Lacy? Lacy in trouble.
If I'm Mendoza right now, I'm going to the body. Try to freeze that instinctive head movement of Lacy that's trying to make the punches miss.
And now Lacy finds a right hand that stuns Mendoza. Both men look to be out of gas here in the closing moments of round two, but what a fun round two this was to watch. Back and forth. Big left hook from left hook. Boy, was that something. Mendoza had him hurt. Lacy mounts a comeback.
You don't see that every day. Jerry.
The looping right hand that we talked about that Mendoza likes to throw, well, it landed on the back of the head of Lacy, throwing his equilibrium off. Take another look at it. Mendoza, the power is in that right hand. Reminds you a little bit of the left hook, not the right hand that Tyson knocked out Bruce Seldon with when he hit him on top of the head. And that's where that right hand lands, on top of the head of Lacy. Messes up his equilibrium, and then Mendoza jumps on him, does not go to the body, and therefore Lacy survives.
The recent world champ, Ring Magazine number 5 in the world, against Epi Mendoza, who's coming off of a knockout loss, a veteran middleweight, now stepping up to face one of the top super middleweights, a guy who's been up, down, and all around, Epifanio Mendoza.
Again, Mendoza, if he wants to truly win this fight, and he's already hurt Lacy, he needs to fire before Lacy gets close. Lacy continuously shows fundamental flaws, Joe, leaving himself open as he comes in, reaching to get in, as he does right
He did it right there and didn't pay the price at all that time.
All you have to do is punch at the right time as Lacy is coming forward.
Mendoza with those overhand rights. There's that right uppercut you said would be there, Teddy, and it lands flush on the chin of Lacy.
And that's the punch that I also said Lacy and his corner should be very aware of. If I know that that's the punch that's a danger, they need to know that's the punch that's a danger on the inside. And again, Lacy eats a right uppercut.
So Mendoza scoring well with the headshots. The right uppercut, the overhand right. Both men were hurt in the second round. Lacy appeared to get the worst of it in the middle, but did have that rally at the end.
Lacy's eating a lot of right uppercuts on the inside. If it doesn't do damage to his chin, it can do damage to his lip and cut him. Lacy now complaining about the right hand as though he hurt it.
This is a great TV fight because you get the sense that it could go either way at any moment.
Lacy has had sore hands in the past.
Not much on that right hand for Mendoza. Lacy comes back. Now he corners Mendoza. Who's willing to work on the inside? Both men taking a rest here. Under a minute to go in round 3. Here comes, now there's a left hook from Epi Mendoza.
I think the uppercut is there for both fighters on the inside, as they both lean forward and leave themselves available to anything coming from below.
Right hand, but Mendoza was stepping away from it. Short left hook on the inside.
Again, the uppercut there for both fighters.
Mendoza backing up, was off balance that time when that right hand landed from Lacy. Back to the corner again.
Lacy should have a big advantage on the inside. He has shorter arms. He's a better inside worker.
Right hand scores. What a good main event. We got a pedal to the metal main event here between Mendoza and Lacy, and they'll be revving it up, of course, at Indy. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series All-State 400 at the Brickyard. Coverage starts 1 Eastern Sunday at ESPN with NASCAR Countdown. The upset-minded Epifanio Mendoza against Ring Magazine's number 5 in the world ranked super middleweight and recent world titleist Jeff left hook Lacy. Mendoza hurt Lacy in the second round. Lacy came back. Both men went after it toe-to-toe in the third round when Lacy had a 23-21 connect advantage. And now you can see Mendoza reacting from a low blow.
Keep him up a little bit.
So a warning from Jack Reese.
Stop. Don't grab his head. Back up.
Jab right hand to the body from Lacy.
And again, Lacy, all power shots on his way in, but doesn't pay a price. Mendoza allows him to get in, does not time him on the way in. And this is a place that I think Lacy, aside from the right uppercut danger from Mendoza, Lacy should own the inside. He's a better inside fighter with his shorter arms.
And that right uppercut there again from Epi Mendoza.
Little hesitation in the mind of Lacy about getting in close. You can see what Lacy was doing there. He thought there was danger getting in. He didn't want to go in that front door, so he feinted Mendoza, tried to get Mendoza to come in and give up his height. And for the most part, it worked out for Lacy.
Hook from Lacy, double jab. There's that chopping overhand right from Mendoza.
You know what I don't understand about Lacy right now, Joe? He's got a good left hook, of course. That is his namesake. He throws the left hook, and he doesn't double it up. If you can land one left hook, you can throw two and land two.
That right hand was close to going south of the border. Went to the body with 2 shots. Blood coming from the nose of Jeff Lacy. Lacy comes back with a right of his own, then gets to the inside.
Again, the right uppercut is the punch that Lacy has to be concerned about. Either get his head on the side or cup the glove a little bit underneath his chin to protect against that punch.
Left hook, right hand from Jeff Lacy. Now on the attack. Right hand reins in again. Mendoza back against the ropes. Got to get out of that position. Lacy on the attack.
And Mendoza lands the one punch he can land inside. The right uppercut.
So a good surge at the end of the fourth round from left hook Lacy. 32-year-old veteran middleweight contender, Colombian Epifanio Mendoza, and there's Jeff Lacy, and they've put on a good show through four. Take you back to the opening round. Lacy landed the right hand. He was 13 of 52 in that opening round against Mendoza, but the real highlights of this fight came in round two, Teddy.
As Lacy gets caught with a right hand, a looping power shot. That is what Mendoza possesses, and it wobbled him on top of the head. But Lacy comes back with his namesake, the left hook, and some good inside fighting.
Back to live action here now. Round 5 scheduled for 10. An important fight in the career of Jeff Lacy. He's talking about the second chapter in his career. You know, he was the well-talked about undefeated titleist, and then he went over and faced Joe Calzaghe and took a beat down there, and now dealing with the backside of that aftermath, coming off the shoulder injury and trying to work his way back. Let's look at the punch track numbers and break down the head and body shots, and you can see Lacy a 66 to 51 connect advantage to the head. Mendoza trying to wrap up and nearly went out of the ring.
The right hand hurt Mendoza, and guess what? Lacy used the jab that time to move forward, and it worked. It got him in clean, and it got him in position for the right hand.
Big power shots crashing home from Lacy.
And again, inside here should be an area that should be owned and dominated by Lacy.
Just missed with that sweeping left hand.
Let him go.
There's danger when Lacy falls out. Danger for Mendoza to have room. Room he needs to loop that right hand.
Oh, big right hand from Lacy. Mendoza stays up after. Short left hook right to the temple. Mendoza fires back.
The good news is the bad news for Lacy right now. Good news, he's landing one shot at a time clean. Bad news, one shot at a time. No combination from Lacy.
Let him go. Come on.
A moment ago,
Come on, Epifanio.
you called it. Lacy lands a big right hand, but no left hook behind it.
Sends him off balance with that right hand. That was to the belt line. And then he sends a left hand to the hip.
Second warning. Next time it's a point. Get him up. You okay?
And a moment ago, Lacy shook his left hand as though it was bothering him.
Fires off a uppercut and a hook with it.
I'm wondering if the left hand of Lacy is bothering him. He's not throwing it. And there he throws one. Look at how square Mendoza is with those wide legs. He's giving a lot of target for Lacy.
He looks like an easel when he gets his back up against the ropes. Coming to the end of round 5. They dig in again.
Tempo, tempo.
Second half of this wildly entertaining main event. Round 6 scheduled for 10. Epifanio Mendoza. He's pulled the upsets before on our air. He's got that big right hand. Chops down with it. He hurt Jeff Lacy in the second round, but Lacy has come back. How about that? How about that right hand that sends the mouthpiece out?
Fine. Go to that corner. Jeff. Easy. Let's rinse it.
good job by Jack Reese, not allowing any time to be wasted in that corner. Gets the mouthpiece right back in. We're back to action.
Let's look at Teddy Atlas's scorecard. Jeff Lacy, 48-46, a 10-8 second round when Mendoza had Lacy hurt. Lead right hand.
When there's distance, there's danger for Lacy. Mendoza again. When he has room, look for that looping right hand. It's up to Lacy not to give him that room. See, now inside, what happens? The right hands go around the neck of Lacy. Again, the only danger for Lacy inside, the right uppercut from Mendoza.
And he's been consistent with it tonight. That right hand looks to be towards the back of the head from Mendoza again. Mendoza puts a left hand to the body. Remember, he was warned 2 times. So he has to be very careful going downstairs here. There's a good right uppercut again from Epi Mendoza.
That's the danger shot and spot for Lacy when he's in close.
Blood coming from the nose of Jeff Lacy.
You know, there's an opportunity with that danger of that right uppercut on the inside that Mendoza possesses. There's an opportunity for Lacy to turn it around. Mendoza drops that right hand. See how he drops that right hand to throw that right uppercut? If Lacy can anticipate that and time that, he can get a left hook to the chin of Mendoza before that right uppercut ever lands. Again, on the inside, watch for that right uppercut of Mendoza, Joe. You know he likes to throw it. He drops it to throw it. If Lacy is keen to that, he can time him with a left hook. There is distance, and again, a looping right hand because of that distance from Mendoza. I don't know why Lacy keeps giving distance right in front of a guy that he knows needs room to punch.
Stop. Break. Separate. Let's go.
4 rounds to go. Mendoza and Lacy, stay with us.
I was talking about the opportunity on the inside for Lacy to catch a left hook. Right there, you could see that Mendoza drops that right hand to throw it. The opening is there for the left hook. I don't know how Lacy misses his left hook. Take one more look at another example. Again, watch that right hand. He really exposes himself. He lands it that time, but only because Lacy pulled back.
Stop.
Opportunity on the inside for both men, Joe. For Mendoza to land the right uppercut, for Lacy to take advantage of Mendoza dropping the hand for the right uppercut.
Round 7. Very good main event here on Wednesday Night Fights. Left hand to the body from Epi Mendoza. Teddy's scorecard, things have tightened up. Mendoza outlanded Lacy in that last round. Had a good opening minute. 57-56, Lacy. Lacy trying to close that gap. Lacy says the future is still bright in his career. He's going to be better than he ever was. The ultimate goal to win out from this point after the nightmare against Joe Calzaghe and then the subsequent shoulder surgery. And now back at 100%, it's time to show his stuff. But can he tonight against such a game and capable Epifanio Mendoza?
Again, a left hook lands there. A lot of those left hooks Mendoza is blocking with his right hand. But when the left hook does land from Lacy, I don't know why he does not double it up.
That uppercut came in again from Mendoza.
Again, this is an area where Lacy should be dominating. Mendoza has long arms serve him in close. Except for that right uppercut. Which when Mendoza does throw it, Joe, even though he's landed it, he's taking a huge risk of getting caught himself.
Short right hand for Mendoza.
Left eye of Lacy starting to swell.
Mendoza's almost Mayorga-esque with those right hands, the way he throws them.
Looks like Mendoza is rising up a little, and Mendoza rising up a little bit, and Lacy starting to travel downwards.
Mendoza is gaining some momentum here at the end of round number 7. 3 to go.
We lost a very special fighter this past Saturday. He was 79 years old. I talk about Joe Maselli. Joe Maselli had 110 fights. He was a New York favorite, and he was around in the days when boxing in New York was just great. He fought in all the clubs. He fought in Eastern Parkway Arena, Broadway Arena, Woodswood Grove, St. Nick's, Madison Square Garden. You see his career record there. Nobody ever gave him a title fight. What it doesn't show you there is that he won 2 out of 3 to the great Ike Williams, who was a great lightweight champion. Obviously, they were non-title fights. He also fought a draw to Joey Giardello, and he also lost a very close fight to legendary Kid Gavilan. We want to send out our thoughts, our condolences, our prayers to Joe Maselli's family. He was also a board member of Ring 8. And the best thing I can tell you about Joe Maselli, 2 things. He had a great left hook. He had a great heart, and he was a great human being. Everybody speaks well of Joe Maselli. You will be missed.
Very nice words, Teddy. Joe Maselli, and you go over that career resume. Boy, fighters were fighters back then. They earned every inch of it. Round 8 between Epi Mendoza and Jeff Left Hook Lacy. A fight that both men have been hurt in. Back and forth action. Mendoza looked to be gaining confidence as we closed out that 7th round, scoring well with the right hand.
I have Mendoza winning the last 2 rounds, making this a very interesting tight fight.
A little frustration from Jeff Lacy there.
And again, Jay Lacy getting top heavy and falling in. That's something fundamentally that needs to be dealt with for Lacy as he moves forward off of this fight.
Swelling around the left eye of Jeff Lacy. Teddy's scorecard, by the way, is all tied up here as we're in round 8, 66 to 66.
And again,
right hand scores well.
Mendoza's getting better, and Lacy, as I said the last round, Joe, getting better.
Jeff Lacy does not look good at all, and he tackles Mendoza. He just flat out tackles him.
And he may have hurt Mendoza, and he definitely bought himself some time right here, and maybe changed the fight from where it was going.
Jeff Lacy was clearly hurt right there after that exchange. His reaction was to tackle Mendoza, and Mendoza undoubtedly affected. It looked like he was grabbing to the back of his head, and he takes away all of Mendoza's momentum.
This fight was going in the direction of Mendoza, and then a takedown by Lacy. We'll see if the direction of this fight changes now.
¿Quieres seguir? No. ¿Quieres seguir? ¿Sí o no? Okay, alto. 2 minutos? Okay, hold on.
So mark down that moment.
You okay? All right.
Here's how it happened.
Accidental foul here, hit the bottom rope. Give him a minute to recover his brain and go. Okay?
Lacy hurt.
What Jack Leach just said there to the commission table is that I'm giving Mendoza, and I gave him a minute to recover because he hit the back of his head on the bottom rope.
That's where you like a referee who takes his discretion and says, you know what, I understand the circumstances here. And I'm going to allow for this, and such was the case here with Jack Reese and Epi Mendoza, but it neutralizes the offensive attack of Mendoza.
Mendoza, as we said,
left hook from Mendoza.
Had everything going his way. We'll see if that changes now.
They trade right hands. Oh, unstable feet from Lacy after that exchange.
That jab, the jab caught Lacy on the chin and hurt Lacy.
Mendoza now, big left hook crushes home. Lacy does not look good at all.
Well, the uppercut is there now for Mendoza.
Comes in with a left hand. Can he get rid of Jeff Lacy? Lacy trying to fire back, digging deep, looking for that right hand.
Now, don't forget, even though Mendoza's on the attack and Lacy's hurt, everything Mendoza throws is wide. He can leave himself wide open for a big shot from Lacy that can turn this around.
No punching. Let go, let go. Let go, let's go.
It's what has made it such an interesting fight from the start. Both men have been hurt. Both men capable of still doing it. And Jeff Lacy takes a long look and a walk towards Mendoza before heading back to his corner. But he was hurt 2 times in that 8th round.
Take a look at what disrupted the offensive flow for Mendoza. A tackle from Lacy. He had been hurt by those uppercuts. And then later on, after that, when they resumed, well, Mendoza, for the most part, went right back to what he was doing early. Hurting Jeff Lacy. Hurt him with an uppercut earlier. Hurt him with a left hook. And drove Lacy back into the ropes.
Such an important fight for Jeff Lacy at this stage of his career. The only loss was to Joe Calzaghe. This was supposed to be the fight where Lacy put a stamp on it and told the boxing public that he's back. Instead, he is in a war with Epifanio Mendoza in just 2 rounds to go here. First 5, last 3, a turnaround that favors Mendoza with the average punches landed. Last 3, 22-13 advantage.
Again, when there's distance, there's danger for Lacy. Distance for those big power shots from Mendoza. And again, Lacy giving distance right in front of Mendoza.
Mendoza off balance that time.
You know, the jab the last 2 rounds has done damage. Mendoza not known for anything straight and anything that's not supposed to be a power shot. But the jab the last round and this round has shaken up Lacy. If I'm Mendoza, I'm going to work with that jab.
There he does.
It is.
Yeah. Just meeting him as he takes that step forward.
You know what? Mendoza realizes it.
He does.
He realizes that he's found something. That straight jab can get to the chin of Lacy. And if the jab can get there, the right hand is not far behind. Again, you see what I'm talking about, Joe, with Lacy. Fundamentally, he jumps in. He gets away with it when you don't fire at him, but there's always an opportunity like that. Just like that right hand that catches Lacy there as he reaches in. Again, some swelling around the left eye.
It's worsened here.
Of Lacy, and a little blood, a little bleeding in that left eye of Lacy. We talked about it before the fight. Scar tissue over both eyes. Lacy has been cut in his last 3 fights.
Mendoza backs him up. Right uppercut comes back. Lacy tries to come with his signature punch.
Mendoza's been like a politician who's been taking state after state in a campaign. He's been taking round after round.
Hands are free.
It all started back in the 6th round with the right hand. Loads of confidence from Epi Mendoza.
Good right uppercut.
Right uppercut. Lacy comes back with a 3-punch combination. Lacy sends in a left hook.
Come on, let's go, let's go.
A little slow to leave the corner is Jeff Lacy. It's been a night of knockouts on Wednesday night fights. It started with Jose Armando Santa Cruz against Miguel Munguia. The near perfect body shot that scores the 5th round knockout. Then Danny Jacobs, the 21-year-old prospect, moved his way to 8-0 with 8 knockouts against Sergio Rios. We saw Carlos Vasquez stay perfect. He's now 8-0, getting rid of David Vasquez. There are moments in this fight where we thought things could end by way of knockout. Both men have been hurt. Sensational stuff between Mendoza and Jeff Lacy. Lacy came out with the right hands early, scoring well with right hands. Then in the 2nd round, Mendoza found the mark, Teddy.
Yes, he did. And it was with his trademark punch. The right hand, the looping right hand on the top of the head of Lacy.
Middle rounds, Lacy comes back, then the right hand from Mendoza in round 6.
Mendoza found that right uppercut, and he put it to terrific use, mixing it up with the right hand up top. And again, now you can see right there, Lacy hurt again from that looping right hand.
10th and final round of our main event on Wednesday night fights. Teddy's scorecard. Epi Mendoza on top, 86-85. This would be a big upset.
Again, the inside, a place that I thought Lacy should have a huge edge. He had that edge early, but has not really exploited it in the 2nd half of the fight.
Stop! Stop punching. Let each other go. Come on.
Mendoza's smart there. He knows that he probably doesn't stand up well on the inside, except for that right uppercut. Doesn't stand up well on the inside with Lacy, so he ties him up. And now he gets distance, and now Mendoza has a chance to catch Lacy as he rumbles in.
You have to be pulling. He got the fight already.
Right uppercut comes in clean for Mendoza again. Lacy tries to come back with a right hand upstairs.
After this fight, win or lose, Lacy has to be man on himself. And his corner is going to be upset at themselves that all night long, Mendoza was able to land that right uppercut on the inside, and Lacy made no adjustments to take it away.
Stop. Stop. You see something. Stop. See it, ready? Box. No punching. No punching. Stop. Step out.
Been a long night for referee Jack Reese. He's had a lot to deal with.
Again, on the inside here, a round that I think Lacy needs. He needs to do work in there and not get caught with that right uppercut. The one punch that Mendoza can threaten him with, and has threatened him with all night on the inside.
Take the point, man. Let's go.
Trying to wind up that left hook, then comes with a right hand after it does Lacy. Coming up on the last 30 seconds.
There's danger as Lacy comes in now.
See how hard Jeff Lacy can work.
Mendoza doing a lot of grabbing inside. He needs to do some punching right now on the outside. And he's not. Looks like Mendoza has faded this final round.
Come on, separate. Stop at the bell.
Very close fight.
Give Lacy credit. He was tired, but he dug down. At least on my scorecard, found a way to win this last round.
Very, very close fight. It's going to be interesting to see how it was scored. Both men were hurt. Both men had their moments. We will hear from the judges when we return to SoCal. ESPN Wednesday Night Fights, presented by Just for Men Hair Color, knocks out the gray better than ever. The Morongo Casino Resort and Spa here in Southern California, home to Wednesday Night Fights, and oh, what a good one it was. The main event between Epifanio Mendoza and Jeff Lacy. The Just for Men hair color punch track fight recap. Lacy with a 172 to 165 connect advantage, but he was hurt in round 2, in round 6, in round 8. Meanwhile, Mendoza himself absorbed big power shots from Lacy. Teddy's scorecard, and keep in mind Teddy scored the second round 10-8, was 95-95. It was a close fight. Which way did it go? To find out, we send it up to the ring to Lupe Contreras.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of boxing from the Morongo Casino Resort and Spa, the official scorecard reads as follows. Dr. Lou Moret scores it 95-95, a draw. Judge Marty Dinkin, 96-94. And Judge Jerry Cantu scores it 97-93. For the winner, by way of majority decision, Jeff Lacy.
What fight was Jerry Cantu watching?
They had it 97-93. But that 10th round, Teddy, on the scorecard of Marty Denkin, assuming he gave it to Lacy, which one would assume, that was a difference maker right there. A majority decision for Jeff Lacy, but give a lot of credit to Epi Mendoza. He made it a very entertaining night. And you have to wonder, that moment in the 8th round when Lacy was so hurt and he went out and tackled Mendoza, did that save the night for Jeff Lacy? We will ask him that when we come back. We're going to try to talk to Jeff Lacy. Stay with us. More Wednesday night fights from Southern California when we return. This Friday at 9 Eastern, Friday Night Fights is in Saratoga to see Ray Joval, Ring Magazine's #8 ranked middleweight, taking on Buddy's son, James McGirt Jr. And our 10th anniversary celebration continues with another memorable fighter of the decade from Friday Night Fights. Then, next Wednesday, 9 Eastern, former two-time world champion Jose Luis Castillo takes on former world title challenger Sebastian Lujan. We welcome you back to Morongo Casino Resort on the heels of one of the more entertaining main events on ESPN this year. Jeff Lacy with the majority decision win over Epifanio Mendoza. Back and forth action. Both men were hurt. A decision here that got mixed reaction from the crowd. Give me your assessment as to your victory tonight.
Well, I felt like I did a marvelous job. I went out there and beat a guy for 10 rounds. I mean, he had a lot of opportunity in 10 rounds, and he want to argue about after the decision in the fight. He should have did what he had to do in the ring.
Before Teddy, the opportunity to discuss the fight with you, Teddy.
Hey, Jeff, both of you were shaken up in that fight.
Yeah.
He had you hurt a couple times in that fight. Now, there was a moment in that fight that may have turned it around. A fighter does what he has to do to survive. Exactly. Very similar to what Diego Corrales did with Castillo when he spit the mouthpiece out to get a little extra time. Did you do that on purpose when you tackled him, just to get a little extra time because you had been hurt?
No, actually, if you go back and look at that fight, he actually, I'm going to give him the credit. He knocked the mouthpiece out my mouth. I'm a warrior. I was in there for 10 rounds. He kept hitting me on the back of the head, hurting me, and I still stuck in there and did my damage to him as well. I mean, he want to talk about the decision at the end. He had 10 rounds to finish me, and he couldn't do it.
But that moment where you tackled him, were you consciously saying, you know what, I'm in a little trouble here, I need a little time, let me bring him down and get myself a little time to make a run later?
Well, that's the experience in the ring, Teddy. You know that. I mean, you use everything you can.
So you're saying yes, that you thought about that and you did that?
Of course. I mean, I mean, we was both coming forward, and I was losing my balance. Yeah, I mean, but that's tactics in the ring. Yes. He still had a chance after I got up to put me in that same position, but he couldn't.
You used your experience. And
exactly. Experience win fights. Not only you know what I'm saying? Not only the punches that you throw in there. Experience win fights, too. You know that better than I do, Teddy.
The experience paid off tonight. Congratulations, Jeff Lacy. The majority decision win over Epifanio Mendoza. We invite you to join us for Friday Night Fights. We'll be in Saratoga for James McGirt Jr. against Ray Joval. Jeff Lacy, the winner tonight. For Teddy Atlas, I'm Joe Tessitore. That does it from Southern California on Wednesday night.